Okay, this morning I'm bored at the house and nothing to do. I'm gonna teach you how to play the game a little bit. I'm gonna give you. I've been thinking about it. I'm gonna give you a more detailed instruction on play the game. Like you've seen previous videos about body language and all this, but this is the game more on a mental level, like how you play the game on a mental level. Number one, you got to realize you're the center of your universe. Not you, God is the head of your universe, but God gives you dominion over the world. If you, believe that, give you free will if you won't believe that. That's what I believe. So, but the thing is, like when you walk into a place, first off, like me, I had to get to know myself. I sat down and I talked with myself, and I thought, well, who are you? You know what I mean? What are some things you like? This ain't first. This didn't happen to me first. This happened after the factory experiment that I had. And then I got to sitting and thinking, like, who are you? What are some things about you? What do you like? What are your faults? You know what I mean? What are these faults that you have, and can you work on those faults? And can you make them better? And if you have weaknesses, can you make them strong, or at least to make them appear strong? You know what I mean? What's a way to make you appear strong? I obsess. I have Aspergers syndrome, so I obsess. So I had to figure out a way. But obsession makes you look weak. You know what I mean? But I can't help it. It's a syndrome. You know what I mean? It's like you obsess and you can't get shit out of your head. You can try, but it just plays over. So I had to make obsession look strong. And how do you do that? You just don't apologize for it. You admit to it and you don't apologize for it. And that's just, a weakness that comes along with people that have Aspergers syndrome. But to a woman, it looks weak when you obsess. But so you got to figure out a way to make it look. I had to figure out a way to make it look strong. And I was obsessing over this girl, and I still do. I can't get it out of my head. Like I feel like I could, if I had a good job and stuff like that, I feel like I could go get her now. I mean, to be honest with you, I really feel like I could get her now. And I kind of want her now too, but like, I don't know, just too much shit, you know what I mean? But either way, that was one of my weaknesses. So I had to just go places where, like, not give a fuck. I just had to say, no, fuck that shit, you know what I mean? And no, this is me, and fuck that, you know what I mean? But the whole trick is this. Here's what's going on. Like, there's several different kinds of ways to play the game. But it all boils down to this. You get to know who you are, like, first. And even if you got to write it down, write all the good things about you down, and write all the bad things about you down. And the bad things, if you choose or if you want to work on them, how can you work on them? If it's something you can't help, how do you turn that into a strength? You know what I mean? And sitting down and thinking about it and figuring it out. And you get to know you on a personal level. Get to know who you are and remove everybody's thoughts from the world. You know what I mean? Don't have no influence coming in other than you sitting down, you thinking about yourself. Who is it that you are? Who would you like to be? And then work on doing that. Because that's your decision. That's nobody else. It doesn't belong to anybody else. That's your free will to do that. Once you sit down and you remove all these outside influences or thoughts, and, part of that is, like, if you do have outside influences that you want to keep, and you want to be like, well, no, I like this right here, so I'm going to keep this outside influence, I'm going to think that way. But the whole point is this. Once you get there to what you know and what you like about yourself, and once you've made your mind up, then that's it. And if you want to say, I can go in and get any girl I want, here's the thing, because you can. This is for guys, you can. And people, like, if you got anything in life that you want to accomplish, you just have to say, okay, I can accomplish this. But here's the game, and this is how it works. When you walk out there into life, you're the center. There's no other center but you. Like I said, but you, God's in your heart, that. So I don't know religious people saying that I was trying to preach something bad, you know what I mean? But I shouldn't even give any thought to it, to be honest with you. But anyways, so you go out there, and you got this feeling about yourself. You done made your mind up, done written your paper up, and stuff like this. And this is kind of how the game is played. People play this game on a worldview, but I'm going to tell it to you in, like, just a room full of girls. Okay, and this is what's going on. And a lot of guys don't know this is what's going on, but this is what's going on. Now, the whole time, if you walk up and you believe I can get this girl, you're going to get that girl. But here's what's going to happen. If you're trying, I mean, there's several different ways. It's you trying and then you're going up and you're not trying. But either way, when you go up, here's what's going to happen. You got this belief about yourself, but when you walk up, people's going to try to make you feel, they're going to try to change your emotions. Okay? And they're going to do it by saying things, this, that, and the other. But what you don't want to do is to have your emotions be moved by an outside force. It's like you decide, nobody else. And if an outside force, and this is coming in handling haters too, handling what women are saying to you, well, when they say something to you, then you got several different moves you can make. You could agree with them, which is a good move, or you could ignore it, which is a lot of times a good move. Or in the middle of when they're talking, you could be like, oh, wow, look at this. You know what I mean? There's another good move. But what you don't want to do is feed. When they throw it at you, you don't want to throw it back. You know what I mean? To throw it back moves you off of your center. You want to stay on your center. And when you're at your center, you have a strong belief of who you are. And to even give thought to anything they said is, and like a girl, if you're feeling, if she says you think you're the shit, be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Of course. Don't know how you feel about yourself, you know what I mean? But you get hurt. But when people do try to come get you, they'll try to get you to talking about yourself, which I still mess up on this. I'm still working on this. To try not to talk about yourself, you know what I mean? When they say something to you, ask you something, say, well, you know, try to avoid the question. And then ask her, well, what about you? What do you think? Because your trick is you're trying to get to know everybody else. And you're trying to find good things in everybody else. Like any kind of little nugget of goodness in them. You don't want to over-compliment, but you want to be like, oh, wow, that's cool. You know what I mean? And without them discovering too much about you. You want to keep as much about you hid as possible, not because of bad reasons, but because that's how you play the game. That's attractive. Just keep what you got hid. And I mess up on that. So I'm not pretending that I didn't mess up. It's just this is the idea of how you want to play. And if a girl gets you to answer questions, that's you selling yourself to her. Now, this girl got me. The girl I kind of obsessed over. But I didn't. When I first started doing this, I didn't know what the hell was going on. But dude, like she wanted to get to know who it was, a little bit about who it was and stuff. So, but the more you answer questions, the more you're like seeking her approval on a subconscious level. I wasn't even aware of that. I was just kind of like out here doing this, and I wasn't even aware of that aspect of the game at the time. But yeah, the less you answer their questions, the more you be a closed book that they have to discover, the more mystery you keep about you. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, too, and haters, they're going to come along. So you're being a closed book. When a girl asks you questions, try to flip it around and ask her the questions. You know what I mean? And here's another thing, too. With girls, don't try to show them all the reasons why they should be with you. Try to show them all the reasons why they shouldn't. Because guys, when they go up and they first start dating a girl, and they do get girls this way, like guys are chasing the girls, and you can get girls that way. But what may satisfy a woman better is when she's trying to chase you and she ends up getting you, because she invested herself, she invested her work in that. You know, so and the more you invest yourself in something, the more you end up, when you do get it, are gratified with it, you know. But you want to be a closed book, and every little tidbit you give out is like a nugget for them, and they're like, oh, you know, that's something new that they found out. And the whole trick is like people are trying to make you move off your emotional plane. And your emotional plane, one of the rules is stay calm, stay cool. You're the cool guy, but you're fun too. It's however you want to behave, really, but you want to stay consistent. You want to stay consistently that guy. Now, when a girl says something to you, like giving you shit, just be like, well, yeah, you got a point. You know what I mean? Just whatever they say, whatever comes outside in, don't let whether you're moved or not is up to you. It's all up here. So, and haters, like when they say something to you, that's when you just laugh and agree with them and just don't give it another thought. Go to right what you're doing. And knowing yourself, knowing who you are, and expressing yourself with no fear. You can't have no fear. Here's why that's attractive. It's an alpha male trait. When women are attracted to alpha